Breaking news from Fox Sports.
Yep.
All right. This being reported by Adam Schefter and Mike Reese. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are expected to part ways today after 24 seasons together and 6 Super Bowl titles.
Don't you feel like famous people are dying? Like,
Jeez.
I know it's pretty morbid, but man, it's just like I feel like
This isn't Black
me,
Monday though.
It just makes you feel like it's like, man, like all these legendary coaches just quick, like boom, 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 like
bang, bang.
They come in threes.
Sheesh, that's 3 right there.
Saving Carroll and Belichick. Yeah.
All done.
I mean, but that was quicker. That was a quick 3. Aren't you supposed to like expect 3 within like a week, a month, or something like that? This is like what, 24 hours?
Yeah.
They're all in their 70s though. You know, it's like you kind of.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you straight like this.
What's up?
If they did a movie with Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, and some goddamn who was the third one? Nick Saban.
Yeah.
That would be the most watched seniors vacation. Like y'all remember the movie Cocoon? Like imagine putting Cocoon on steroids.
I was thinking Grumpy Old Men, but
Grumpy Old Men. Come on, man. That would be a dope ass movie. I'm telling you. Those 3 personalities in a movie would be total comedic freaking brilliance, man. I'm telling you. Think about it. Like, just think about
I do appreciate
oh my gosh.
We hear the news of Bill Belichick to add to Pete Carroll and Nick Saban, and the first thing we're thinking about is a remake of Grumpy Old Men. These 3 coaches.
Like not the 7 national titles or 8 Super Bowls or whatever they got together.
But can you imagine the discussions of coaching, the discussion of players? Think about the players they've coached. Think about the experiences they've had. Would you not be enthralled by listening to them talk to one another about what a season represented and how that looked? I mean, I don't know. Did Belichick? He didn't coach college, did he? So
no.
Imagine.
Well, I think was he an assistant was he at the Naval Academy?
Yes, he was. I think he was at the Naval Academy. I think that's where he started out. His dad coached there or something like that?
He was with Baltimore with the Colts.
All I know is imagine like being able to say, hey, Bill, sit this conversation out.
Actually.
No, never at the college level.
Looking through it, he first started with the Baltimore Colts as a special assistant in 1975.
Okay, there's a connection to the Naval Academy.
His dad.
He went to Wesleyan, but his dad was at Annapolis. That's where he was.
That's what.
That's why him and Lee Corso are close because Corso coached there.
All I know is imagine Pete and Nick saying, sit this conversation out, GOAT of NFL. Like, you know what I mean? Like the conversations that them dudes would have with their accolades and their accomplishments. I mean, who could have that type of conversation?
It's kind of wild when you think all the success that they've had and all 3 are moving on in different directions. And I almost get the sense that if you had to bet on somebody who's going to be staying around, it's going to be Belichick. Like he's going to find an opportunity, I would think, somewhere else. And now the Patriots are going to look, Mike Vrabel obviously makes a lot of sense because he's got connections there. But it does feel like Belichick's going to have
walk of shame every other night now, man. Just enjoy it. Like you're a GOAT. You're a GOAT of goats. Just enjoy the shame walk.
I think Belichick.
And now you ain't got to just have your shirt off. You can have it all off.
He's got his eyes.
I'm heading home.
He's got his eyes on the all-time wins record. And I think he's going to be looking around for an opportunity to try and get that done somewhere else. Some people have said, what about the Chargers? The connection with the LA Chargers could be a possibility. But him and Saban are really close, and to see them walk away within hours apart of each other is kind of wild.
Q said earlier, maybe Pete Carroll isn't built that way. You know what it made me start thinking now that I'm talking about? When I said Pete Carroll should just enjoy being in the building and not having to do anything.
I say he's not wired.
Wired that way. Built about. I feel
he wants to compete, dude. Everything he does, he wants to compete.
It makes you think about at their age, like what happens when coaches wired that way don't coach. Like it could go one or two ways. And I think we both know what those two ways are. Like when Joe went out from coaching, he was out of here quick. Like some coaches, that keeps them alive. Like competing and doing those things and getting up and being stimulated that way. It keeps cats alive, man. And then some cats enjoy it. I mean, Bobby Bowden enjoyed being out of the game for a long time. I know it's Coach Spurrier. He's been enjoying being out of the game for a while now. I mean, some guys really enjoy golfing and motivational speeches and going and visiting campuses or visiting teams. Some guys like it.
So let me go back to Jonas's point, though, about the wins. So Bill Belichick has 302 wins right now, which means he's 26 behind tying Don Shula. And he's 16 behind George Halas. Now, the interesting thing in my mind is he's, 71 years old?
Yeah.
How much longer will you coach? But I would say, think about how the NFL is now. You need 3 more seasons, probably 4, to assure yourself he gets over Shula. Because 3, you're saying he has to go 9-8 3 years in a row and he gets it, right? I think the most interesting part is Andy Reid's 65.
And
he's at 258. I mean, if Andy Reid coaches for
5 more years?
I was going to say 5. The average. I mean, that gets them. Let's say they average 10 wins per year of that span, right?
That's 50 wins.
Well, that's over 300 though. So you're getting over 308. And then think about if they got some years maybe they go 14 wins. Maybe some years they go 12. That number creeps up where all of a sudden Andy Reid could very easily be somewhere in striking distance 2 of that. So I find it really fascinating if the motivation is, ultimately going and coaching and having the most wins all time, he's going to have to coach till he's 75. I think to assure himself he will get past that number. And the problem is if Andy Reid coaches till he's 75, I mean, that's 10 more years. If they average somewhere around 9, he's easily going to go past that number. So it could be a record that he's shooting for and he's able to accomplish, but maybe it doesn't stand depending on what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes end up doing in Kansas City.
I saw a story out that part of the motivation for Belichick is he wasn't a fan of Don Shula and some comments Shula made about whether it was Spygate or whatever else came along with it, but that's why he really wants an opportunity to break the record. Whether or not he gets the opportunity, who knows? But what's kind of crazy, LaVar, you came into the league in 2000, right?
Yeah.
Seemed like a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Belichick took the Patriots job. That's a long-ass time, man. Like a long-ass time of success at the highest level. We're never going to see this again, ever.
No.
A quarter century of that much consistency, we're never seeing it again.
I was just going to say, that is... It kind of changes the definition of dynasty. When people try to throw that around and people have tried to use that term or title with the Chiefs, I'm like, wait a second. I mean, they've had a really good run. But you're talking about a team that since Bill Belichick took over has not won the AFC East. And basically, there's been some realignments and so forth, but has not won the AFC East. I think of that, 20-some years, what is it, 6-7 times?
Oh,
I mean 19. How is it? Is it 18 times? Whatever it is.
6. I'm showing 6.
So 6 separate times they didn't win it.
Yeah, 6 or 7. There was a 19-year stretch where they finished first all but 2 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
That's wild, man.
I mean, the crazy thing we talked about, Pete Carroll. They went to out of the 14 years he was in Seattle, they went to the playoffs 10 times. Bill Belichick's got obviously better numbers than that in regards to the playoff runs he's had. And obviously, everyone's going to point to the time with Tom Brady and that success. But it's just you're never going to see a run like what Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots were able to do in the AFC East, in the AFC, and that run of Super Bowls, championships, and just success. You will never see that again. And I think the one thing that got highlighted this year and their struggles that stood out to me is even when there was all this speculation that this day was going to come, Bill Belichick continued to remain focused on each week and every week focusing on the task at hand. Like, I think that's the one thing that I've taken from all the assistants, whether it's Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini, Josh McDaniels, any of the assistants that I played for that I was around, is they really wanted to eliminate distractions. But I think the more positive way, or the other way of looking at it, is they demanded extreme focus on the task at hand right in front of you. They never want you to look out further than the next game. And I know it sounds, we're on to Cincinnati becomes like a punchline, but the truth of the matter is that's how Bill Belichick was able to operate for so long, so successfully, and get Tom Brady and those Patriots teams and everyone else that was involved to be that successful, in my opinion. They never allowed, or seldom allowed, whatever distractions were going on in the locker room, with the coaching staff, with some of those big personalities outside of it, they never allowed that stuff to interrupt their focus on winning. And that devotion to the team and winning. That was their singular focus. And I think they were better than anyone else in the history of sports during that period of time.
Hell of a run for Bill Belichick. The breaking news that just came down a short time ago, as Eddie Garcia pointed out earlier here a few moments ago from the TireRack.com studios. After 24 seasons, Bill Belichick and the Patriots mutually agree to part ways, so New England will be on the market for a new head coach, and now we wait to see what the plan is for Bill Belichick, the greatest to ever do it, chasing Don Shula in wins, but more Super Bowls than any coach in the history of the league.